Coming up next, on the spot, we've got killer robots to shoot in our demo for Hard Reset, then unleash some mayhem in Renegade Ops. We also take to the skies in Combat Wings, bring you a starting block for Frozen Synapse, and then chill out with some darts.
60.
There's also digital downloads, a check-in with the team at Gamescom, and maybe check something else out. We're live and on the spot.
Welcome, folks, to the GameSpot Studios. I'm your host, Chris Waters, joining you for On the Spot. And next to me is Kevin Van Ord. Kevin, really glad to have you out here. How's it going?
Hooray!
Yeah,
I'm good.
It's exciting. Another Thursday, which means more live demos, and you are here with a little keyboard and mouse setup.
Yeah, they still have those.
They still have those. We have those here in the office, and you're going to be playing
Hard Reset.
Hard Reset.
Now, Chris, did you know that they make shooters that are only for the PC?
But what if I want to do it on a console, Kevin?
Well, forget that.
Okay, so Hard Reset, PC exclusive shooter, but if you folks at home have not heard about this game yet, there's a good reason. This isn't one of those games that they announce months and years ahead of time.
No, they just announced it a short while ago.
And
so it's like, hey, our game's coming out in a few months.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's coming out this fall because,
Yeah.
you know, there aren't already just a crazy ton of games coming out this fall, but this is another one to add to your list because it's looking really cool.
Yeah, it does look actually really cool.
All right, so
maybe we should actually take a look and show how it looks really cool.
Show and tell?
Absolutely.
Perhaps? Okay, so here we are in, like a
So here we are
dark
in this
city.
Yeah, it's all Blade Runner-y here.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know a whole lot about the story. I don't know that anybody knows a whole lot about the story at this point. Let's just say that I'm Major Fletcher.
Okay.
And I'm part of a corporation where some shady shings are going on.
Shady shings.
Yeah, so...
That's what corporations of the future get into. I mean, that's the corporations of the present. Let's keep it real.
You
folks.
get a gun and you get robot alien type things, and that's what's important.
What are you just shooting at it? Oh, okay. You're hitting debris in the environment.
Yeah. So here's one of the first things the press demo gives you right off the bat is the ability to, well, you know that you can shoot like these electrical things on the side of the walls, and that will help you out when you get bombarded by hordes of beasties.
So boom, that thing will short circuit. They run into it.
And there they go. Exactly. And
Achievement
then you see
unlocked,
that.
bad boy.
Yep. And you see the little canister went flying and flew into the other one. So that helped me out.
So it sort of cascade a little bit.
So yeah, so there's a whole lot of exploding.
I like
this
that.
game is
I like
all
exploding.
about exploding, as far as I can tell. That's what this game does absolutely best.
So folks are asking, you know, people are excited to see some PC stuff. Folks in the chat rooms are wondering what kind of PC we're running this on. I mean, is this is gonna tax your rig?
It's not, actually.
No?
You'd be surprised. This looks really good. Now, this is a high-powered PC we're playing on right now. But I can run this on my like my other PC in the office just fine, and that's just a Radeon 5750.
Okay.
It's not really super powered. It's more like a low to medium setting rig that runs this game absolutely great.
And it looks good?
And it looks really good.
Shoot the barrel.
Here's another thing you want to look out for is hidden areas.
Secret areas, yay!
Exactly.
That's always fun.
Now, an interesting thing is that you only get 2 weapons per se. So I've got this rifle here, and I can switch over to the plasma gun.
Ooh.
But I want to point out when it comes time.
Okay. You've got some
there's some stuff that's going to come up. Yeah, because you don't just get these 2 weapons. You do, but then again, you don't.
I'm intrigued to learn more about that, but what I really want you to do is shoot this gun at something because it looks really cool in your hands. But
how about that?
Okay,
how about some
that
shooting?
is satisfactory.
Yeah, I like to shoot. Shooters are all about the guns.
That is really cool. I like how it's just sort of spinning that really fast, and it shapes into an oval.
It's a neat looking weapon.
Do these little beasts have like a back wheel and 2 front legs? Is
Yeah,
that the kind of
it's a
weirdness we're dealing with?
really great design. I really like the way they look.
So that's creature design, but this is also, I mean, this world is no slouch either.
No, it looks really great. It's very atmospheric. There's a lot of darkness, but a lot of neon to kind of color it up. Mm-hmm. So great futuristic sci-fi atmosphere. But let's watch out because I've got Big Boy, and there he is.
Oh, look at that dude. He wants to fight.
Yep.
Oh,
but he also wants to charge at you. And
He
that's
looks
not
a little motley, like he's sort of a hodgepodge.
Yeah. And it's funny because even when they start going down, they'll still kind of crawl around on their little half legs. You don't really see it here. You see it a lot more with the other weapon. But yeah, pretty soon you're going to see an example of what happens when I actually upgrade these beastly weapons. But of course, first,
Secrets.
secrets. I was standing a little too close. You can damage
things.
yourself if you're not careful.
And it seems like you've got health and a shield, and your shield regenerates automatically, but maybe your health doesn't.
That's exactly right. No regenerating health. Hooray for people that are tired of regenerating health.
That is a pretty popular thing these days.
Yes, it is a very popular thing. So yes, you have to rely on your wits to stay alive, and health drops.
So Kevin, Lim AK wants to know what the engine is behind this.
I believe this is proprietary. This
Yeah.
is their own engine. And these are guys that, I think this is a hodgepodge of people. This is a Polish developer, I believe, and it's a hodgepodge of people from CD Projekt and from the folks that made Painkiller and
people can
folks
fly,
like that.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So these guys know what they're doing when it comes to tech and
Got
know
a
what they're
good
doing when it
pedigree.
comes to old-fashioned shooters.
And it's certainly looking the part so far.
Yeah, here's another interesting thing. Like, if you don't like waypoints, and again, people that like old school shooters may not like waypoints, I can turn it on and off
You're that little thing
really
on top
easily.
of the screen.
Exactly, right at the top of the screen, turn it
So-
on and off. It's also really
Yeah. You just want to
interesting.
find your own way through the dark dystopian underground.
Exactly. So I've switched back to the rifle for no apparent reason other than I just want to show different weapons.
Yeah.
Grab this over
Mix it
here.
up. Now, what was that? 200 of something.
There's also ammo that you have to worry about.
Okay. But that looked like it was. Oh, so that was that ammo, that orange.
I believe so,
Color.
yes.
Die, you little. Now, these things haven't really gotten close to you yet. But if they do, are you in trouble, or are you?
They'll
like,
do
pretty-
some damage. They come in groups,
Mm-hmm.
so they're not really hard to face on your own. But they come at you in hordes. So then you have to start being careful. But that's where some of the upgrades are going to come in, and we're right at the point where I can show you an upgrade. I got to shoot this. As you see, hard reset is big on explosions and fire and things flying everywhere.
And a little light environmental puzzle solving there.
Absolutely. So here we go. This is where you get to upgrade your weapons. You only get the 2 weapons, but then they can morph into other sorts of modes,
Ooh.
as it turns out.
Okay.
So I'm going to focus on the plasma weapon
Your
because I think it's the
NRG
most
weapon?
fun. Exactly. So you can see that right now it fires plasma projectiles, but I can do a cumulative plasma mode for second fire, which is basically one big blast of plasma. And then I can enhance that even further. But now we have new modes open to us besides just the regular plasma.
Because you equipped it with enough upgrades to open up the hammer.
Exactly. So the hammer is it fires a continuous stream of electricity that kind of fires out at all enemies within a certain range. And then this goes ahead and starts to upgrade this.
Paralyzing?
Exactly. It's great.
Total range increased. So are you just upgrading with impunity here? I mean, is there?
Well, you will have to earn more than what you're seeing here. The press demo comes with some extra points that they
nice.
gave us to
Okay.
play around with. I'm not going to worry too much about the regular firearm because that's no fun. People want to see electricity everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
I like. Yes, agreed.
So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade because you also get some passive upgrades and things like that. Like you get to see upgrades to your HUD, like enemy placement, things like that. I'm going to go ahead and improve some of those things.
Enhanced hormone dose,
Yeah. So these are more like shield upgrades.
ammo upgrade, or
yeah,
carry
exactly.
more ammo, stuff like that.
You got it, exactly. Energy does regenerate, and it regenerates faster if I take this. So there's, when you go along the way most people will, you'll have to, pick and choose as you go, which of these things are going to be most important to you.
Okay, so now we've got a few new bells and whistles on the old NRG
Exactly.
gun.
So now you see I'm in regular plasma mode. If I fire like that, but now the blaster does that. Now the mortar is probably my favorite because you can kind of, I can drop
Oh, and then it's
that
just gonna
little
kill
pod,
for a
and it
while.
will kill for a while, exactly, until
then
boom,
explode.
exactly.
That's delightful.
And that's really helpful. So
So that's more than just primary and secondary fire mode, though.
Yeah, you can kind of think of it as different weapons, but really it's different modes with the same weapon.
Okay.
So it's secondary fire and tertiary fire, but these secondary modes also have their own secondary fire, for example. So it's really a new way of presenting multiple weapons.
Okay. Now we got some more questions coming in the chat room. Folks are really curious about this game. You know anything about, let's talk tech, DirectX 10?
Honestly, I don't. I probably should. And
Oh yeah, get
boom,
him with the thing.
there's a big one there.
And then someone's asking about Windows or Mac. I'm gonna go with.
I'm gonna say no Mac.
Not Mac.
Yeah.
Alas.
I don't know. I'm gonna imagine, though, considering their efforts to make this technologically interesting, that they're gonna have some DirectX 11 capabilities in here. But
Okay.
don't quote me on that. That's just me talking out of my butt.
Kevin, theorizing is the word we prefer to use around here. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
that's
keep it
the
classy.
more technical.
All right, we also want to know, so right now we're obviously in a bigger open area. Before it was sort of more corridory. Do you get a sense of what the level design is like? You've sort of made the point so far that it's a spiritual successor to old school shooters.
Yeah.
Which, one of the hallmarks is no regenerating health. The enemies are tougher. But then also there was this sort of more open level design, more ways to go, not just ushering you down one path.
No, totally. And it does seem like it's a mix of corridors as well as open areas. Like this area is pretty well open, but after this, when you go into the next level, it's pretty corridory to the point where it's almost frustrating because you go against more of these big dudes that you're seing here, but in a much tighter area.
Oh, that seems like it might not go well for you.
Yeah, it's you definitely have to think tactically. A lot of the time, you have to think about your position and various things like that.
Especially when they're charging at you hard.
Exactly.
Now, wasn't one of the abilities you unlocked for your gun like a slow them down or sort of stop them in their tracks?
It's the secondary one on this, but I don't think I have energy for it. Yeah, I'm.
You don't
close
have
to that.
energy for like living right now, barely. You can do it. He's limping.
I'm trying to change. There we go. I was
Finish
trying to
him.
change.
Oh, why are you so close?
Oh, I died.
Why did you go so close? You have a
Because
gun.
I know because I was there.
You were there.
But that is actually the end of the level.
Oh, okay.
The last dude, and then you run up a little bit more. There's a few of the littler dudes to shoot. The littler, that I'm making up words as I go.
Yes, the dudes that are littler,
Yeah.
that run at you with their little.
Yeah. I'm not very good at talking and playing at the same time. This is kind of well-known
It's a
fact in
challenge,
the
Kevin.
GameSpot offices at this point.
It is a challenge, and we're actually going to have another GameSpot editor on shortly to see how well she can do with the play and talk at the same time. But before we go, Hard Reset, announced recently, but coming out soon. Do we know when?
We do know when, and when I say we, I don't mean I.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden I realized I've blanked on the release date.
Okay.
So, but it is very soon. It is.
It is coming. It's this fall.
Literally
It's within
weeks.
Weeks.
I think. I think
Yeah.
it's September.
September?
Maybe somebody should check that out.
Maybe you can check.
Maybe I can check that out. Maybe
You're-
you, the reader, can check that out by going to the Hard Reset game space and seeing the gorgeous screenshots.
Opened up a new tab though, because we have another segment coming up. We're showing off another game for you next called Combat Wings: Great Battles of World War II. Bit of a different flavor than the old school dystopian future electricity explosion first-person shooter, but I think you're gonna like it.
So the mission we're looking at here, it's set in the Battle of Iwo Jima. The game is called Combat Wings: The Great Battles of World War II, and we're really putting on the emphasis on the great battles. So we have some very epic scale events here. Yeah, every once in a while we get some pretty unusual events happening in the game. There's really no such thing as a routine mission in air combat. Things always go wrong. The enemy is always doing his own thing. He's always trying to stop you from achieving your objectives. And in this case, we've run into some Japanese kamikaze fighters. That's about as desperate as the enemy can get. They're trying to stop us by ramming themselves into our ships. Not an easy thing to stop for me. It's funny, they fly more or less in a straight line. They're hell-bent on hitting the enemy ship, on hitting our ships. And that's exactly what makes them one of the toughest enemies in the game, because they will not avoid your fire. They will just keep flying straight there. This is long before jet fighters, long before long-range missiles. So what we had is an era where you had to get in very, very close to the other guy to have a chance of hitting him. And this is, as you can see, what we've been trying to capture very hard. This kind of distance that you see here, it's pretty normal in this game to get this close to the enemy fighters. We want the game to be very intense, very, very, very up close and personal. Okay, So to achieve this, we've implemented a number of features. One thing is the speed boost, which when you use it you can get very close to the enemy. Another feature is the ace mode. The ace mode, it's a kind of assist feature, which when you activate, as I am doing now, it automatically guides you towards the enemy player. It doesn't get him right in the middle of the crosshairs. I still have control over my steering, and I still need to really line him up to get the shot right. But it helps me in the regard that I don't have to look for him in all this empty air. I can just focus on lining up the shot. So this time we are looking at a mission set in Russia. Combat Wings, one of our objectives in this game is to give the player a very broad overview of the war. We have 30 missions in the game. They are set across 4 different campaign settings. So we have the Battle of Britain, we have the Pacific, we have Russia, and we have North Africa. And in this case, as I said, we're going to Russia. And our job this time is going to be to go up to destroy an enemy airfield. What you'll see here is that there's an awful lot of German aircraft standing on the runway. Inevitably what happens when you find a German airfield, I suppose. And the thing is, we like to give the players little tactical choices like this. Your job is to get in there quickly and destroy the ground objects marked with the red arrows. But it's up to you. You can either try to rely on speed and just do things as fast as possible and get out there hoping that they won't have time to inflict too much damage on you. Or you can try to destroy the enemy planes while they're still on the ground and thus prevent them from taking off and giving you a bad day. It's up to you. And here we have another interesting event in this mission. The airfield that we were wrecking was actually just kind of a primary objective along the way. What we need to do now in this mission is to fly on to find a partisan airfield hidden in the forest. Really just a clearing in the forest. It's going to be quite a fun challenge landing there. And there I shall pick up a resistance agent who will guide me towards my real objective in this mission, which is to destroy a secret German facility producing the V2 rockets. This is looking good. And that's it. Or not. Or yes. Okay. And that's all for today. Okay, Combat Wings, the Great Battles of World War II, coming this November for the Xbox 360, PS3, PC, and the Nintendo Wii.
That was a pretty cool looking game, but needs more barrel rolls.
Absolutely.
Just gonna say that. Folks, we are live and on the spot, and joining me is Carolyn Pettit with an Xbox 360 controller in her hand.
Yes.
Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chris. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you here. You are our second live demo of the day.
Yes.
Kevin was on here earlier,
Yes.
playing Hard Reset, and
Yeah.
he perished at the end.
Okay.
And then he tried to claim that whole, it's hard to talk about a game and play at the same time. So are we going to see a good performance from you today?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, I like that confidence.
Oh, yes.
What game are we playing?
We are playing Renegade Ops, which
Renegade
is
Ops.
it is a downloadable game. It is coming next month. They haven't set a specific date, but sometime in September for Xbox 360 and PS3 at the very least. I don't know about a potential PC release, but
Okay.
yes.
All right, now we can only show you folks a little bit of this. This is going to be a quick demo.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
while we're seeing this, let's jump right in.
So what we got, you are part of the Renegade Ops team. You are one of these 4 badass.
Gunnar, Roxy, Diz, Armand.
Exactly. My man here, Gunnar, with the sunglasses, right? You know, he's the guy for me. And so characters can level up. They upgrade over time. You've got defensive, offensive, and tactical bonuses that you acquire. I've so far been putting my upgrades into his heavy gun. He has a heavy gun, which is appropriate because his name is Gunnar.
I mean, it was destiny.
Yes.
From birth, his mother was like, "This child will have a big, heavy gun when he grows
shall
up."
wield a weapon. So, just to set the stage real quickly, it's got kind of a comic book presentation that's, actually really effective. It sets the stage early on with there being this absolute maniac named Inferno who just, he just wants
That
to
was a
watch.
whole different story with
He-
the naming.
Some men just want to watch the world burn, they say, and he is definitely one of them. And so you are, your goals are to basically put a stop to his.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there we're getting a taste of the little comic presentation. In the
Yes,
top
up there
right.
in the kind of picture-in-picture things going on up there.
And now you're just destroying local
Yes.
infrastructure by
Yes.
driving through.
Well,
teleconsoles.
I'm here as a liberator, so a little collateral damage.
That's fine.
It's going to happen.
That's just something you got to deal with.
Yeah.
This game looks sharp.
It looks really nice. I
Yeah.
mean, this may not even be the final version. I see occasional little texture weirdness, but that may be ironed out. But yeah, as far as just the way the dust kicks up on the road as you drive along, and so many little details. I
like the birds. I mean, the
Yeah.
stuff in the atmosphere. Okay,
Yeah.
bad guys.
Okay, so so it's a dual stick shooter. You move, obviously with the left stick, shoot with the right, and the vehicles. I think they feel, really good. They have a great sense of kind of weight and momentum to their movement, and So, you get your standard guns. Each vehicle has its own special ability. Gunnar's, I'll show you his heavy gun right now, which you can't move and fire it at the same time. So, but that's it right there.
They're shooting you
They
so much.
are shooting me so much as I shoot them.
You are gonna die. Drive away.
I got to
Or
grab these health pickups here.
Oh, nice health pickups.
Yes. So as you kill enemies, they'll drop health pickups. They'll also often drop weapons of their own, like rocket launchers or let's see, what's this one right here? Machine gun. Okay. But yeah, so I think I have a rocket launcher equipped right now. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So right there.
Boom.
So you get those have limited ammo, unlike your main guns.
Sure.
But it's nice to destroy an enemy and pick up a really powerful rail gun that you can use a few times.
And now you're getting kill bonus, whatnot. Points
Yes.
are popping up on screen, so obviously score is a big factor here.
Yeah, you definitely want to chain together, damage for as long as you can, when you can. That kind of built up a multiplier that I believe contributes to your experience. I don't really know all the ins and outs of how that system works,
Okay.
but
And
definitely incentives for for earning big scores by chaining
And we
together.
can see as you're taking hits in the top left corner, your multiplier is dropping,
yeah.
and then you just exploded.
I just
also, but
yes. Excellent.
she lives.
I got another life.
Just to do a little donut every time you start up your new life. Now, so this is Gunnar in the Jeep
yes.
type thing. What other vehicles are we seeing in Renegade Ops?
We have there's one Armand, I think his name is. He has a very useful shield, that negates.
Is that a vehicle?
Well,
Or
that's his
ability?
vehicle. Yeah, that's his vehicle's. His is also, I believe, kind of a heavier, Jeep-like vehicle like this. There's, I want to say her name is Diz. It's kind of a
Yep.
buggy, and she can call in.
Oh, you're not looking so big.
She can call in an airstrike, and The fourth member of the team, her ability eludes me at the moment.
Was there just you did like a dramatic turn there, and you could see it? There's blood filling the tire tracks that you've left on the ground.
Well, there may have been
Because you ran over soldiers.
There's all the cute little soldiers there that I just Well, they're bad guys. They chose the wrong side. They're with Inferno. They get what they deserve. But yes.
Okay, so now you're going heavy gun.
Yeah.
Because in the battle of Jeep versus tank,
yes,
we all know who to bet on.
Yes, absolutely. So I love just these bridges and the way you can see things down there in the distance.
There's a great sense of depth, even with these cliffs sort of looming up at you. This is a jungle, but I think earlier I saw you over water, like you were in a helicopter.
Yes, at least in the first. This is the second mission. In the first mission, you do take control of a helicopter for a little while, and there I don't know, maybe other vehicles throughout the adventure as well. I'm not sure. Yeah. So, you can of course just crash into and just wreck their structures, which I always enjoy doing.
Yay.
Yeah.
Vehicular mayhem.
So yeah, just it's seems just shaping up to be just a really fun, very destructive, explosive dual stick shooter. So.
And you can play it cooperatively, right?
You can, absolutely. It supports split screen 2-player and online for up to 4 players simultaneously.
4 players.
And so this is a map.
Wow.
Levels are kind of open worldy, and and players can go their separate ways. So you're not.
So you couldn't be not even seeing them
right.
close by.
Exactly.
I was hoping you'd go off that sweet jump.
Yeah.
You didn't really stick the landing, but that's
no.
okay.
This thing is built to tumble.
It's got a roll bar.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fine.
Yes.
You're rescuing Natasha.
Because
that's just what you do.
That's what you do.
All right, cool. Now you're on the beach. We're
Yes.
seeing some water lapping, and I think our demo.
We probably are at about that point where we should be wrapping this up.
Cool. All right.
Yes.
Well, Caro, Renegade Ops.
Yes.
You said we're looking at PSN.
PSN and
Xbox Live Arcade.
Yes.
And September.
An
release window?
undefined date in September. Absolutely.
Now, folks in the chat room, actually, we're drawing comparisons to earlier this summer, I believe, or earlier this year, Gatling Gears.
Yeah.
That was sort of a dual stick shooter in this vein.
Yeah.
Like, military, lots of shooting, lots of bullets in the air.
Right. Yeah, Tom McShay, made a comparison also when he saw me playing this, or he, that game came into his mind. I unfortunately have not had hands-on time with Gatling Gears.
Okay.
So I can't make a direct comparison, but yes, if you want to get your hands on a dual stick shooter right now and don't want to wait for this,
then Gatling Gears was a good one.
Yes, it's out there and it's available now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming on, showing it off.
My pleasure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on, and our next segment is for a little game called Frozen Synapse. Now, I don't know if you folks have heard about this, but this is a game that really has. It's a multiplayer game. You play it on PC. It's sort of caught on as this really intense tactical combat experience where it's turn-based, but you're sort of ordering your squads around, and you're ordering them to do all these minute things like advance here, duck, pop up, look for enemies, pop down. But you're not taking, it's not like you go, then your enemy goes. It's you plan it out, and then it all happens at once. So it's a little tricky to wrap your mind around, and hopefully this next starting block will give you a better idea of what to expect from Frozen Synapse.
Step away from the heat of battle and chill as the role of a calculating leader. Our Frozen Synapse starting block will provide tips for this simultaneous turn-based strategy game. As commander, your objective is to issue orders for 5-second intervals. At the exact same time, hostile forces are planning their own strategies. While it can take minutes or hours to scrutinize over tactics, upon execution, the battle typically lasts for under a minute. Each unit has a specific gun, and you'll want to be familiar with each weapon's properties, the range and fire rate. Shotguns are close-quarter weapons that fire instantly. Sniper rifles are slow but maximize distance, while machine guns are an equal balance between the two. Rockets make up for their slow speed with powerful area blasts that can hit several enemies and destroy walls. Grenade launchers have no engage on sight and need to be fired with manual aiming. The grenades themselves ricochet and detonate after a few seconds. Make sure to not trip on your own frag. Be aware of movement speed and cover. Standing, move on sight, and cancel aiming units may be able to dodge snipers and rockets. Ducking, engage on sight, and focus aiming will all lower movement speed, but can act in your defensive favor or allow you to get shots off quicker. You'll have the biggest advantage when standing still and the enemy moves into weapons range. Keep in mind that you take no crossfire damage from a dead soldier's bullets, but stray rockets and grenades will harm your team. Acting quickly isn't the only means of timing. You can also opt to delay actions for several seconds. This can allow your forces to change position, stance, and alter target focus in the middle of a turn. Because each phase is only 5 seconds, long actions may bleed into the next round. However, you can manually cancel and change a unit's current orders. In some cases, recalling a previous order can save a teammate's life, or inadvertently send them into the line of fire. Your strategy will change depending on the match's visual mode. The default light mode will show the enemy's current position, allowing easy anticipation of the next move. However, the opposing side can spot you just as easily. In dark mode, which is common in online multiplayer, each team will remain hidden unless they come into weapons range. This can lead to sporadic blind fire, surprise attacks, or even turtling. Use extra caution during dark matches, as one false turn could have your boys eating lead. There are a multitude of randomly generated campaign battles, skirmishes, and online matches to behold. Whether you decide to charge straight into battle or lounge through a match for days, you're now primed for the warfront.
Yes, I think that guy did just explode in a burst of blood.
Wow, that was pretty graphic.
That was interestingly graphic because it's like it's not very visually complex.
Right.
But somehow still really packing a punch with that shotgun.
It's like that Black Knight sword that we saw, the new Suda 51 game.
Yeah.
Where it just like explodes in a pool of blood.
Got to give them what they want.
Should we talk about news?
Tom Magrino, ladies and gentlemen, here to talk about the news. What is the news, Tom?
Well, getting back to Black Knight Sword, that was from Gamescom. We have other stuff from Gamescom, probably more high profile.
Gamescom, big video game
thing
convention happening
right
in
now,
Cologne, Germany.
In Cologne right now. We have GameSpot editors. I presume they're there.
Oh yes,
They're
many.
sending us words. I don't know if they're accurate. One of the big things that happened earlier this week, Sony has cut the price on the PS3. Probably most of you know this by now, but if you don't, now you do.
Yay, it's $50 cheaper.
$50 cheaper. They dropped it to $250 in the US, €250 in Europe, and then 24,980 some whatever in Japan. Yen.
Some
Lots
yens.
of yens. Many yen.
But less yens than it used to be.
Less yens than it used to be. I have no idea what that equates to. Probably about $250.
Okay, so you can get that
so
cheaper now.
That's the big news so far that's come out of Gamescom as it pertains to Sony. Sony had its press conference. And they had a few other things happening at their press conference. New Infamous 2 DLC standalone game that's probably coming to PSN probably sometime in the next couple months.
Okay.
They had that new Resistance game for the Vita.
Yes.
They showed that off.
That's right.
They talked about new Assassin's Creed coming for Vita. So they had a pretty eventful media briefing there. But back to the price cut. This is the first one they've had since the PS3 Slim came out in 2009. So it's pretty exciting stuff for them. We talked to, after this happened, we talked to Sony's director of hardware marketing, John Kohler, and he said that they had been planning it for like 12 to 18 months. This isn't like some spontaneous decision on their part.
Not a Nintendo 3DS price cut?
No, it had nothing to do with the 3DS. But it probably has something to do with the PS3 not performing as well as the 360 in North America. But I mean, it's worth noting that the PS3 actually sells better in Europe than it does it outperforms the 360 in Europe.
Huh.
Slightly. I mean, not so much that it makes a massive difference, but we commonly see 360 outselling PS3 in North America, and that's not the case everywhere. So then the obvious question becomes, when will Microsoft respond? Are we going to get a 360 price cut? We talked to some analysts, and they say Microsoft is probably going to take a wait-and-see approach to this.
Okay. See if it actually shifts the tide a little bit.
See if it shifts the tide. Right now, Microsoft kind of has the dominant market share. Consistently in North America, they're selling more consoles than anybody else month after month. I think 13 of the last 14 months, 360 has been on top.
So they're
US
feeling
retail.
pretty confident.
Probably pretty confident. But, you know, those same analysts, Michael Pachter, Jesse Divnik, they were predicting that Sony will see some pretty significant short-term gains for the PS3. They were expecting, you know, the sales to bump 30 to 50%. So that's, you know, that's what's going on there. In that same conversation with John Kohler, we also talked a bit about the PS Vita.
Yes.
You know, that's coming out obviously
At some point?
early 2012 in the US and Europe.
Okay, so they've nailed down
later
a
this-
window. at
Yeah,
least?
later this year. That's old news. Old news, GameSpot.
All right, Tom.
The new news.
Tell me the new news.
It's not
Make it
so much
snappy.
news as much it was Sony's, you know, bravado talking about the system. Everybody's got, you know, this 3DS price cut on their mind. They're like, will Sony respond? And it sounds like, you know, they're going to continue with their pricing strategy for now, which is, you know, $250 for the non-Wi-Fi version, $300 for the Wi-Fi version.
Yep.
And you know, the common theory right now is that the Vita and the 3DS are facing a lot of competition from iOS devices, tablets, and the way Sony sees it is it's the exact opposite. Like, these iOS devices are just like time killers, you know, that they're like the gateway, I guess they're seeing them as. So people are playing, you know, Angry Birds and like, you know what, I want something deeper.
Hey,
I want to
hey.
kill these Angry Birds and
Hey,
skewer
you
them.
kids like playing games on your phones?
Yeah.
I got something for you.
Right.
Check this out. It's a whole handheld device devoted to games.
Right. It will be richer and deeper, and you will love it completely. So that's
Sure.
That advice is that's how Sony's approaching this situation. So they're kind of expecting that rather than the PSP laying the groundwork for the iOS, it's more the iOS laying the groundwork for the PS Vita.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm kind of under the impression that when you're playing a handheld device, you're playing it to kill time while you're on the bus, and you know that's just the way you approach these things. But what do I know? Whatever.
You haven't done a lot of market research on the
Clearly, my market research skills are not up to snuff. But John Kohler, who's the director of hardware marketing, are. We're going to move on. So one other hardware-related announcement made during Gamescom came from Nintendo, actually. They announced for Europe that they are going to be introducing a new redesigned Wii. Not a Wii U, a Wii. So the Wii... the new Wii.
Tired of your old Wii?
Tired of your old Wii?
Want
How
a
about
new Wii
one?
that does less stuff?
It does less stuff. It will lack GameCube
Less
backward.
stuff.
What?
It does less stuff.
It does less stuff.
Yeah.
It lacks GameCube backwards compatibility.
Is that it?
That's basically.
Okay, so
So it's got slightly tweaked.
so what's the appeal then? If it's doing less, is it going to be cheaper? Is it going to be?
I don't know. I mean, they haven't really.
Red?
They're bundling a lot of stuff into it, so it's probably going to be the exact same price.
Okay.
But with that console, you're going to get a Motion Plus controller. You're going to get a nunchuck. You're going to get Wii Sports. You're going to get Wii Party. So you're getting a lot of stuff.
If you live in Europe.
If you live in Europe, we talked to Nintendo of America, and they said, wait and see. Maybe. We'll give you a maybe.
Fine. We didn't want that new Wii anyways. What else, Tom Magrino?
Right. So our final story of the day.
Yeah.
Um,
What do we got?
I really want to. Can I talk about bears?
Tom?
No, I shouldn't talk about bears.
Tom, if it's pertinent. if
Kinect
it's
Bears was
new-
dated. That's all I'm saying. That's not what I want to talk about, though. So in this ongoing dispute between EA and Valve, we have a few new developments. Gabe Newell, who co-founded Valve and is their managing director, basically the public face of Valve. He spoke to Develop, a UK gaming website, saying essentially, he was just very gracious in this interview, saying that we really want to work this out with EA. There is no real animosity here. It's just a dispute over the terms and conditions of getting games on Steam and the post-release interaction between a publisher and their consumers.
Okay.
So his take is there's a whole complicated set of issues in this relationship, and they're trying to work it out. They really want EA's games on Steam, so
They're
it
not just
sounds
like, oh, we're in a fight, man.
yeah, they're
not
not
happening
like,
ever.
yeah, there's no. It doesn't sound like there's any bad blood there. It's just a business, and so his stance was basically, we need to prove to EA that abiding by our terms and conditions is A, the best way to make money, and B, the best way to keep the quality of your games and keep happy customers. Like, we're doing this in the interest of the customers and you. Which, I mean, I assume that's what he would want to say.
Better. Well, all right, so the gist is, if you're really hoping to play Battlefield 3 on Steam come October, there's still a chance you might be able to.
There is still a chance. Right now, that is not the case. We actually talked to Peter Moore just recently, yesterday, at Gamescom, and he briefly addressed this issue. And basically, he just said, EA wants to deal with our customers how we want to deal with them. We don't need, you guys being the intermediary party. So they want these terms and conditions to change.
Well, hopefully they can come to an agreement and all get along, and then everyone can just shoot each other in the face.
Right, or you
virtually.
can find some other way to get your product for shooting someone in the face.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
Cool, Tom.
That's all I got.
Is that the rundown?
That's it.
Awesome. Well, we actually have a lot more coming from Gamescom. If you haven't been keeping up with our coverage, there's plenty of it on the site, new trailers, previews, all sorts of good stuff, and some videos from our editors on the ground. The UK's been doing new start selects every day, and Sean and Maxwell put together a little piece for you that we're going to run now. Let's go check in Germany on the ground.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Germany, as you can tell from what I assume is a famous German guy behind us. We are at the Gamescom in Cologne right now, and it's day 2 of Gamescom, and we've seen some pretty cool stuff thus far, starting with the Sony and EA press conferences. Isn't that right, Maxwell?
That is very much correct, Sean McInnes.
Now, you didn't go to those press conferences, however, I went to those
totally
press
did.
conferences.
I went to a different press conference.
That is true. So the first one was the EA press conference. What I would have to say was the highlight of that show was Battlefield 3. No surprise here. They debuted co-op from that game, which looked really cool. It's definitely a new feature for the entire Battlefield franchise. I've never really seen a Battlefield game with co-op before, but they also sort of went back to the roots and showed some footage from the 64-player Conquest mode. And in fact, I went and I braved the lines to go play some of that Conquest mode at the EA booth, and let me tell you, it was a lot of fun. I am terrible at flying jets. I crashed more than a couple times, but Conquest mode, that might have just convinced me that I need to get a gaming-level PC for this fall.
People's tax dollars at work.
People's tax dollars at work. Anyways, what have you seen so far?
I attended, Blizzard sort of had a surprise press conference that we didn't exactly know about when we showed up, but whatever, we made it work. They talked Diablo 3, they talked StarCraft 2, and they talked the upcoming World of Warcraft Catalysm 4.3 patch. So starting with Diablo 3, the new difficulty mode, which is titled Inferno. It's sort of an in-game difficulty level designed for max level players to the point where you won't be able to out-level this content. It's sort of like in Diablo 2, you could exceed pretty much the max level of the monsters and then just sort of steamroll your way through the game. Not so in Diablo 3. They also talked about how in these higher difficulty levels there's going to be unique items with new art and all sorts of good stuff like that. Moving on to StarCraft 2, they basically didn't have anything new to talk about that we didn't already know about. But one thing they did mention about StarCraft 2 was that there's going to be a free mod for it based on Defense of the Ancients that's going to be released around the same time as the Heart of the Swarm expansion.
Now, clarify one thing for me, Maxwell. Blizzard is working on a Dota game. Valve is working on a Dota game. I don't is this what's going on there? Is this just like a
Dota explosion.
Is Dota public domain?
So the way I understand it, Valve is working on a Dota game. They're working on the direct sequel called Dota 2, which they're hoping to have released early next year. And then Blizzard is also working on a mod for StarCraft 2, as I mentioned, which is also called Dota, and I believe it will be released for free.
All right, interesting. Now, one of my personal highlights from the show thus far is I got to see Borderlands 2 for the first time. I was a really big fan of the original game, particularly its sense of humor. It's even more ridiculous in Borderlands 2. Here, let me give you a few examples. One of the bosses that you fight is this big, heavy enemy who has an angry midget strapped to his riot shield. You can shoot the chains off so that the midget runs around, distracts the boss, and then you shoot him from behind.
I spent so much time in the original Borderlands just shooting midgets. It warms my heart to know that they're bringing in new and exciting ways for me to shoot midgets.
Well, that's just one thing that you're into. Anyways, they also have a disposable gun where instead of reloading it, you just throw it at your enemy, and then another gun magically appears as if completely out of nowhere.
Hey, you know, why not?
Why not? What else have you seen so far that you like?
I got to see Suda51 and Grasshopper Manufacturer's Lollipop Chainsaw. Can you guess what type of game this is based on that name?
It is a game where you make lollipops and chainsaws. It's a simulation game because those are huge in Germany.
Close, close. It's actually about a young cheerleader who wields a chainsaw and fights zombies. I don't know how you didn't figure this out.
Okay, that's interesting. So what is Suda51 doing to give this game his magical touch?
Well, he's making it absolutely freaking insane. Okay. So like I said, you play as a young female cheerleader who, for one reason or another, has a disembodied head sort of strapped to her waist there.
Like you do.
Like you do. And so basically, she has two different kinds of attacks. She's got light attacks, which are sort of like cheerleading moves. She summons these magic pom-poms and does flips and kicks, and there's sparkles, and it's pretty magical. And then when she's ready to get down to business, she brings the pom-poms together, the chainsaw appears, and she just melees into people and can pretty much dismember all sorts of zombies.
Sounds very interesting. And you know what? We've got a lot more interesting Gamescom coverage on the Gamescom page, which you can find at gamescom.gamespot.com. Check it out, everybody.
I think Sean loves Borderlands half because it allows him to say stuff like shoot a midget off of riot shields, and just be silly. I mean, that game's really fun, and Borderlands 2 looks cool. But some strange new games announced at Gamescom. We'll be taking a look at Lollipop Zombie Cheerleader Extravaganza later. Not the actual title. I think it's a working title. Anyways, we've got another demo coming up next, and this one was taped earlier with Marko Djordjevic, GameSpot's new sports editor. Tried his hands at darts. I'm hoping that he's good at them, and I don't think you can die in darts, so he'll be the first GameSpot editor we've had on to not die in a video game today. Let's see.
Hey everyone, it's Marko Djordjevic here. I'm with Joe Nichols of Microsoft Games, or Big Parks in Vancouver, who's here to show us Kinect Sports Season 2. Joe, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Tell me what I'm about to get myself into right now.
So Kinect Sports Season 2 has 6 different sports, and we're here to show you darts.
Okay.
Now, the cool thing about darts is when you play in the living room with something like this, you're not going to lose an eye, you're not going to hit a pet, there's not going to be sticky stuff on the floor from being in the pub or anything like that. But what it does demonstrate is how far we've actually come with Kinect, that we can actually track your arm and how much force and pressure you're putting into, and it's really, really a robust aiming mechanic. And so all you got to do is just stand in front of the dartboard and have at her. So,
all right. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the game of darts, what is my objective right now?
So the game's called 501, and what you're doing is you're counting backwards from 501. And so the objective of the game is to get down to 0 as fast as you can. And every single dartboard square is worth points, so you just hit 5.
Yeah.
The one that's highlighted right now is in what we call a triple square. So if you hit that triple 20, that's worth 60 points. And that's what you definitely want to aim for. 1. Close.
Almost.
Close to getting 1. And so as you can see, you're playing the CPU here, but you can make some noise. So like you can wave your arms around and try and mess her up, and the louder and the more movement you do, you'll start. See, now she's getting ticked off. She's turning around like, would you shut up? So she's you can throw her off her game. So you want to make sure you're doing a lot of that.
Now, for someone who hasn't played, I've played the real sport and the real darts, and I'm of course not that good at it.
Yep.
How are you guys doing this to make it more user accessibility for people who've never played darts before?
Sure. So there will be suggestions going on. So right now you've got suggestions on there. That little glowing thing is telling you that's the most points you want to go for. So try and aim for that. There you go, 60 points. Nicely done. Finally done. And so it teaches people how to play by suggesting where they want to throw.
Okay.
And as you go all the way down to 0, when you actually finish the game is called checking out. And what checking out means that you're going to have the last dart that's going to take you to 0. And so let's say you have 20 points to get down to 0. Because when you check out, you have to go out on a double, which is the outer ring there, just like there. When you check out, you have to hit an outer ring. And so it shows you have to do that. You can turn those suggestions off or on depending on how hard a game you want to make it. Then you have to brush up on your math. So if you're playing and you don't know what you have to aim for and you got 34 points, you're going to go, oh, double 17. Right? You got to start doing things like that. And then what's really cool about this game is that you, when you play these games, you can send challenges to your friends. So they'll get home, whip on Kinect Sports and say, oh, by the way, Marco just got this score and Pop Darts. Think you can do better, and you'll get notified that I just beat you. So you go home and you're going to want to do it. And we've been playing against our friends in England who are responsible for this one. This particular game, Darts, was done at Rare in the UK. And so those guys, of course, if you want guys to make a dart game, you want some guys that know a little bit about it. See, yeah, just kind of go a little crazy. See, and look at those eyes, not happy. And so you can send the challenges back and forth. But the real story for us is that how we can actually get pretty accurate with your hand and fingers. And what we do is we actually track your head, your shoulders, and your hips. And then once we've got that in place, we can pretty much anatomically figure out how you're going to throw, and then we track your arm and whether you throw to the left, up, or down, or right. And it's pretty accurate.
Okay, I'm going to try that out by actually trying now to, maybe I'll get a better score if I throw with my right hand. So.
Well, did you select right hand when you started?
I can't remember.
Yeah, so try with your right hand because you may have selected right hand. So Kinect may be tracking to your right. So, see?
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
World of difference.
Okay, that's good. So that's looks like you got 60 there. There you go, 180.
Okay, I'm playing right-handed.
There you go. Oh, and you get the big replay moment. Sweet. Very nice. Now we'll throw Hiromi off her game.
Oh, she could almost win this now.
Yeah, now's where it's key to really mess her up. See, she's not very happy about that. She keeps turning around looking at you. Take a step back. Oh, she didn't even hit the board. Nice, pretty good. Now if you step left or right a little bit, there you go. You'll see you can angle your shots too. So that's a strategy you can use if you've got if you've got two darts already in the triple 20 and you want to get some more real estate to aim for. You can just move left or right and it'll actually angle the board. So you actually have a little bit more to aim for.
Hopefully I'll have a chance to try that out.
Yeah. So hopefully, she's not off to a good start.
Can't let her win.
No.
Can't let her win.
Flap it.
My dignity's at stake.
But if you were to go to England and into a match and see this, it's just unbelievable how many people go to these events. In North America, we just can't relate to it because we don't have anything. There you go. Match winner. So now's your moment to not bask in the glory.
Perfect. Well, that was a look at darts on Kinect Sports Season 2. When can we expect this game?
You will get that for holiday this year.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching.
That is all the fun of darts in your living room with none of the tiny holes in your wall that you have to fill in with toothpaste before you move out. Kinect Sports Season 2. Thank you to Marco for that. And now we're moving right on to digital downloads because there's not a lot of new games on retail store shelves in August. Maybe there are some online.
This is Aaron Sampson bringing you a list of top digital downloads this week on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, and, well, not so much Wii Shop channel this week, as Nintendo now updates their titles on Thursdays. But I will say that it's just been announced that Zen Pinball is coming to the eShop channel, tentatively this fall, which sounds like a good idea. New this week, Sony announced at Gamescom that the PS3 has dropped $50 in price, making the 160GB system $249 and the 320GB system $299. But oh, by the way, PlayStation Plus is $50 a year. Worth it? You decide. On the Xbox 360, remember playing with toys on your bedroom floor? This is way better. It's Toy Soldiers Cold War for 1,200 Microsoft points. Grab a formidable arsenal, including Not Rambo, F-14 Tomcats, and attack helicopters to defend your bases. Check out our full review. Spoiler, the title scored an 8.5. And if your Cold War is going badly, be sure to check out Justin Calvert's level walkthroughs. Old but newly available this week on the PSN front, get in your time machine, and let's get back to 2002 when some bad junk was going down in the real world and gamers were turning to their PlayStation 2s for some good old-fashioned, we know exactly who our enemy is World War II action. I'm talking about Medal of Honor Frontline, $14.99 in those $2011. Not sure what it was in $2002. The title is an HD remake of a GameSpot Editor's Choice pick, which at the time had terrific gameplay, visual flair, and great sound. Ooh, sorry, that's the old version. Here's the new one. Check out our vintage review from one Trevor Rivers. In game demos this week, on both PSN and XBL, people who crash together get horribly mangled together, unless you're both playing the Driver San Francisco multiplayer demo. Join in on 2 tag races, just like the elementary school game, except with 3/4 of a ton of metal, glass, rubber upholstery, and lubricants. Also in the demo are 2 Trailblazer routes where 6 players try to stay in the wake of an AI-controlled lead car as it attempts to figure out, why are you all chasing me? Additionally, on XBL this week, you'll be able to rack up a body count. But if you're someone who has cold feet when it comes to demos, you can also watch a demo trailer on GameSpot with dudes talking about the demo. Otherwise, if you just ignored my last sentence, you can download the demo and enjoy Codemaster's latest creation, an arcadey shooter with destructible cover. Check out the primer from our UK co-workers over at Start Select on the GameSpace. And new DLC this week, Dynasty Warrior 7 is dropping content on PSN and XBL, and just on PSN, you'll find content for Infamous 2. In game trailers this week, you may enjoy footage on PSN of El Shaddai, Sega Rally Online Arcade, and Assassin's Creed Revelations. On XBL, you could potentially be watching a trailer for Steel Battalion Heavy Armor and Deus Ex Human Revolution. That's all the time we have. Join us next week for our top picks of digital downloads.
So I realize I've had this stuff sitting on the desk the whole time and I haven't told you guys about it or even addressed the fact that there's all this Plants vs. Zombies stuff. Well, I'm still not going to tell you about it because trivia is coming up just after this next segment. I will tell you how to win this stuff and download codes for the PC version of Bastion. But first, we're going to take another look at that Lollipop Chainsaw trailer you got a glimpse of during the Gamescom segment. As the chat room reflected, there was a lot of speculation about what exactly that game was about and what that trailer was trying to convey. We had a similar experience when we watched it here in the office, so Tom McShay and Sophia Tong sat down to take a look at it and really give you their impressions of what exactly that was all about.
Hey everyone, I'm Sophia Tong and I'm joined by Tom McShay, and we're here to talk about Lollipop Chainsaw. You guys might have seen the new announcement trailer that just came out.
Yeah, Sophia and I looked at this trailer and we had very different reactions. We wanted to talk about it a bit. I'm really excited about it. It's made by Suda51 and the music is Akira Yamaoka.
Yeah, Grasshopper manufacturer, their next game after Shadows of the Dam.
Yes, so it'll be funny because Suda's funny. It'll sound great because Akira is very talented with that. But it's also pretty crass and vulgar.
Yes, I mean, judging from the trailer, there's a lot of, you know, crotch shots and innuendo.
Yes, it's very violent.
Yes, there's a lot of blood, but, you know, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the game wasn't aimed for my demographic necessarily, but I could see the appeal. Lots of, if it's controlled well and fun, I don't see why it wouldn't be entertaining. But yeah,
it's different. It's for someone who wants something very different than like a normal mainstream title.
Right.
This will give you
like something not so serious.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious and fun, and it doesn't take itself seriously, so that's always nice.
This is very true. So I guess we'll find out for sure. It comes out next year, 2012, and we'll see just how offensive or funny it is.
Yikes. All right, it's trivia time, and it's going to be time to give away. We've got hats that I can not fit on my head because I actually have a deceptively large head. Fun fact. So this is a whole bunch of Plants vs. Zombies stuff. We've got hats, we've got little figurines, and we've got what appear to be fridge magnets so you can Saturday night zombie up your fridge or other flat magnetic surface you may have in your house. I don't know what that would be. But I'm not giving these away on the show. Just kidding. These are actually winnable by you through the Big Shot Bounty on GameSpot's YouTube Spotlight channel. Cynthia recorded a video with all the details on how to win these guys, so go to the YouTube channel, GameSpot's YouTube Spotlight channel, and you can find out how to win all this stuff. What I am giving away today is Bastion download codes, and because this is just a code, you can win this if you're watching live, like right now. Submit your answer using the Submit a Question button on the page, or just say it in the chat room. Jody and Cynthia are in there, and they can email you your code. So, without further ado, the question for Bastion PC download codes. Where were most of the voiceover lines for Bastion recorded? That's kind of a tricky one. Maybe not going to be easy to just Wikipedia that one up. But if you're lucky enough to get the answer correct, you will be the winner of a Bastion PC code. Now, folks, don't forget, you heard about it on Sync earlier in the episode, but we are doing a real big giveaway for Call of Duty XP. That's an event coming later this month? I don't know. Coming in September, at the beginning of September. It's in Los Angeles. They're doing this whole Call of Duty blowout. Modern Warfare 3 is going to be there. They've recreated an actual multiplayer level from Call of Duty that you can play, I think, paintball in or something like that. And we're giving away tickets for that. In order to win those, well, Jody laid it out for you in Sync earlier, but I'll tell you the skinny. It's go to our YouTube page, subscribe, and like the video that's the Call of Duty XP breakdown. Now, if you just subscribe and like it, that'll get you an entry. But if you leave a comment, maybe even upload your own video with a little pitch on why you want to go, then your chances will improve. Let's just say that. So that's pretty much it for all the trivia. Be sure to check our YouTube page for the Big Shot Bounty giveaway and the Call of Duty XP. And good luck to you folks on that Bastion question. Now we are going to be closing it out here on the spot. I'm really glad you folks could join me here in the studio, and looking forward to seeing you next week when I believe the release schedule is going to pick up. We're going to have a lot of cool games to talk about. Hope to see you folks then. Have a good weekend.